All right, and we're live. We got Dominic Cruz versus Marlon Vera, a absolutely bonkers fight. Should be great. Should be great. Dominic Cruz is coming out right now, getting his gloves checked, cup checked, putting the Vaseline over his eyes. One of the most innovative fighters in UFC history, really. He's been fighting in the UFC for so long that um, he was the first champion when they made the 135-pound division. It might have even been the 145-pound division at that time. They had very few divisions in the UFC. At first, when the UFC started, it was one weight class that anyone could fight in, and then they started adding weight class after weight class after weight class. And once they added a like featherweight kind of weight class, Dominic Cruz was the original champion in that weight class. And he's been fighting forever. He has this really strange, intricate style where he's moving and weaving and ducking and diving, and has like this really interesting footwork. He actually has a DVD on Bjjfanatics about all the different ways to have good footwork in the UFC. But he's really got an unorthodox kind of style, and I'm curious about that instructional. I think I will probably get it one day. If you guys want to check out my Bjjfanatics instructionals, the links are in the description. Hopefully you can get those and learn more about fighting. Marlon Vera is his opponent. He's coming out now, the only guy to beat Sean O'Malley. And he's really got this look of like the eye of the tiger, where he's just been on a tear recently, coming out and defeating all of his opponents. So he's facing the former champion, Dominic Cruz. And right now he comes out dancing, looks real loose, looks like he's having a really good time. And he's getting checked by the cut man to make sure his gloves are good and his mouthpiece is good and all that. He's ranked number 5 in the bantamweight division, and he's got the most finishes in UFC bantamweight history. He's got 7 wins in the UFC by knockout, and some submission victories as well. So good stuff here from Marlon Vera. A tough test for anybody, especially if you're in the top 5 of the UFC. That is the top tier. And he's in an interesting situation where it's one of these fights where Dominic Cruz is sort of on the decline from being champion, and he's on his way down the division, and Marlon Vera is on his way up to try to get to that title shot. So should be an interesting fight right here. The 135-pound division has some interesting stuff going on. Aljamain Sterling, my dad knows him as the backpack guy, is the champion. And then there's Peter Yan, who he fought to win the championship. And these guys are just right beneath them. So should be a really good fight. And I'm curious how this one's going to play out. All right, the tail of the tape. Marlon Vera 29 to Dominic Cruz 37. Marlon Vera 5'8", both 5'8", 135 pounds. Marlon Vera with a 70.5-inch reach, and Dominic Cruz with the 68-inch reach. One number off from my dad's favorite number in the world. So Dominic Cruz, he had this kind of insane circumstance where he had knee surgery after knee surgery after knee surgery. He came back from one of his knee surgeries and then tore his knee up again the first day of training. And he was out for years and years and years. And then he finally healed and made a comeback. And it was a really inspiring thing, and he's still fighting. So it's awesome to see someone come back from crazy serious injury and still be able to fight and competing at the highest level here in the UFC. So kudos to Dominic Cruz, and an inspiration for me coming back from an injury as well, and much respect to his mental fortitude to still be fighting after having all of those surgeries. And especially after having all of those surgeries, one of the main ways that people go to try to beat Dominic Cruz is they beat the crap out of his legs. He fought the champion Henry, took away his movement ability, and then finished him. So I wonder if Marlon Vera will have that strategy. I think that's a really major, major part of this fight. So it says my connection is unstable. Please wait while we retry. If anyone's watching out there, let me know if the connection is all right and you're hearing me, please. If you didn't hear what I just said, Dominic Cruz had multiple knee surgeries, and a strategy that people have used to defeat him in the past is to kick his legs out, leg kick him to death, and take away his ability to move and then finish him from there. Sort of a known weakness from Dominic Cruz, and it will be interesting to see how much Marlon Vera decides to use that tactic and strategy in this fight. There's Mackenzie Dern, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful female fighters in all of fighting ever. She was known in the jiu-jitsu community as being the most beautiful jiu-jitsu girl for a while, and then she transcended that and was the most beautiful in MMA. Anyway, they touch gloves in the center of the octagon in their famous couple-word meeting, and they went back to their corners, and the first round is going to begin in a second. Here they go. Round one. Dominic Cruz opens with a head kick and a flurry of punches. This is round one of a possible 5 rounds. Another sold-out crowd. And here you start to see Dominic Cruz's crazy footwork that he's known for, moving all around, all around. Crazy opening here for Dominic Cruz, throwing a flurry of punches as he's moving forward. Watch for this crazy footwork and movement of Dominic Cruz. A lot of people say, too, that it is because he moves so crazy and does all these extra pieces of footwork that that led to him having the knee injury, and that makes him kind of inefficient as he's fighting. So it will be interesting to see how and if that plays out in the fight. Dominic Cruz really taking the initiative with a lot of kicks here. Looks like his knees are working really good. And so far has really kind of set the pace and set the tone for this fight. Marlon Vera not throwing much. A huge leg kick from Dominic Cruz. Kind of an unexpected way for Dominic to start this fight. But in a way, he's almost welcoming him to a takedown attempt here from Dominic Cruz, and then some leg kicks on the ground. Really, really fighting with a lot of tenacity and spirit here, whereas before I've seen him take a more kind of laid-back approach and just kind of got his legs kicked out. Or maybe not laid back is the right term, but at least a deeper respect for, big hook from Marlon Chito Vera. That's why you need to have a certain amount of respect for your opponent's punches, and he had more respect in previous fights, but so far has not respected Marlon Chito Vera's strikes, and he got clipped for it. And let's see how this kind of changes the dynamic of the fight, coming through with another flurry of punches. It seems to be that Dominic Cruz, his strikes have less of effect, and Marlon Chito Vera's strikes have more of an effect. Marlon Vera, obviously the one in the yellow, and Dominic Cruz in the white and silver here. 2 minutes, 35 seconds left in this first round. And Dominic Cruz doing less of his crazy movement than usual. I wonder if he is trying to be more efficient with his energy in this 5-round fight. But still doing his crazy, moving around, prancing around footwork routine. Marlon Vera sort of maintaining this calm, composed, really straightforward approach with the craziness of Dominic Cruz. Really, you get to see them being the antithesis or the nemesis of each other's styles, which is kind of an interesting thing in this fight. I'm noticing, too, Marlon Vera has a lot of tattoos. I wonder if he got some tattoos recently. I don't remember him having that many tattoos, but I don't follow him too closely. 1 minute, 30 seconds left. Nice front kick from Marlon Vera. And another flurry of punches from Dominic ends the combination with a head kick. And these punches really are not coming straight down the pike for Dominic, really punching as he's moving. And one thing that you see a lot of boxers take advantage of, and looks like Dominic Cruz is doing the same, is whenever he moves his head to a particular direction, that sets his footwork in motion of, since his weight is in that direction, following his body. Another big flurry of punches for Dominic Cruz. So he follows his body in the direction that his head goes. Oh, beautiful takedown. I love how Dominic Cruz combines his footwork with his takedown attempts. You sort of don't see when the takedowns are coming until he's already there on your legs. 35 seconds left into this first round. A great tactic that a lot of seasoned MMA pros have are to take you down in the last minute of the round and to beat on you from the top position after that takedown. That's a great way to sort of, big armbar attempt here, and Cruz escapes. But like I was saying, a great way to look good in the eyes of the judges to show that you're dominating is to do a takedown and then beat on them with some ground and pound at the end of the round. And you see that tactic employed here by Cruz, which will end round number 1. Interesting round. Interesting to see how these two styles mix up. They're showing this this check hook here from Marlon Vera. Looks like it sits Dominic down. And a great takedown from Dominic Cruz. I love how on the how he shoots that takedown and he puts their hips down to the mat as he's doing the takedown. Good stuff there from Dominic Cruz. And then with his footwork, you never know where that takedown is coming from. You know, it's hard to get a read on him with all of those crazy movements since he doesn't move like anybody else. 15 seconds left for this ad, and then round 2 should be beginning very soon. Got to give that first round, I think, to Dominic Cruz. Even though Marlon Vera had a nice hook that sat Cruz down, I think Dominic Cruz did more in that first round against Marlon Vera. Second round beginning right now. Marlon Vera opens up with a head kick of his own. A little bit of a kudos, and I could start the beginning of the round how I want to, is what Marlon Vera is saying with that kick. And it's interesting, Cruz coming forward with that flurry again, and Marlon Vera sort of becoming wise to it and adapting to it midway in the fight. Ken Shaloya says, Rye, I ordered from your Amazon link. Thank you so much for that. I got an Amazon link in the description. If you don't want to support the channel through the PayPal link or buying any of my instructionals, you could simply just click on my Amazon link and do all your regular Amazon shopping. Anything you buy, I will get a small percentage of. 4 minutes, 13 seconds left into this second round. Cruz throwing some kicks to manage and keep the distance. And looks like he wants to play this game from a out wide far type range and then close the distance by blitzing him and throwing that kind of flurry of punches. And it's interesting to see Marlon Vera kind of adapt to this and more so want to stay in the pocket in striking range with Cruz. Very reminiscent of a karate type style from Dominic Cruz to fight on the outside, fight all the way out, and then come in with a blitz. And then combining that with him throwing hook-type punches and his crazy footwork, where most times you would see in that blitz more straight punches. So an interesting kind of style here from Dominic Cruz. Yep, there he goes again. Outside, 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 and then close the distance, hook, hook, hook. 3 minutes, 10 seconds left in the second round. Good work here from both fighters. And a nice punch from Dominic Cruz. But again, it looks like Dominic Cruz has a hard time to hurt Marlon Vera. Marlon Vera seems very durable and that his strikes mean more whenever he hits Dominic Cruz. which is interesting. I guess Dominic Cruz being more of the volume striker and Marlon Vera being more of the power striker here. And you see Marlon Vera throw a leg kick there. I think one of the commentators said that's what he needs to do, and I agree. Those leg kicks on Cruz will be very important, but maybe he wants to also prove a point that he doesn't need to go with the strategy of kicking Cruz's legs out to win the fight. Because I am surprised that he has not thrown as many leg kicks as he probably should have to defeat Cruz's weakness, which is his knees and his knee health. 1 minute 50 seconds left here in the second round. And Dominic Cruz definitely throwing more techniques. There you see his crazy footwork in action. Hard to get a read on what stance he's deciding to fight from and where he is and what he's doing. Throws a nice body shot, and then sets it up with the head, body, head. And Cruz responds with a hook of his own. Good stuff here from both fighters. They're showing a statistic that Dominic Cruz is landing about 30% of his strikes and Marlon Vera is landing about 50%. But Dominic Cruz, with that being said, is being way more active. So it's really a toss-up here. I guess you got to give the rounds to Dominic Cruz because he's really doing more. Ooh, a nice cross from Dominic Cruz. I'd say a lot of this too is Dominic Cruz is a hard puzzle to kind of figure out. You know, you got to be very adaptable in this fight. Beautiful takedown attempt and shut down by Marlon Vera there. Really getting a better read on how Dominic Cruz's footwork equates into those takedown situations. 13 seconds left in the second round. And I think Dominic Cruz's experience really kind of paying off here, even though he's taken some shots here at the end of this round. And time. Both fighters look each other in the eyes on their way back to the corner. A classic maneuver. One of my favorite fights of all time was Robbie Lawler versus Rory McDonald. And in the end of the fourth round, both fighters just stopped fighting and they just stared each other down for like 20 seconds in the middle of the octagon. That was a really long 20 seconds. And the referee was like trying to push them back to their corners so that they could rest and recover for the next round. But there was this eye contact that was not broken, you know? It's one thing to look a guy in the eyes in the beginning of the fight, but also after you've had many rounds with him, that stare down and intimidation could also be used during the fight. And here you see them again, both looking in each other's eyes right before the round as Herb Dean starts to speak to both fighters and says begin. Them really both starting in the middle of the octagon. More looping shots here from Dominic Cruz. Round 3, 4 minutes, 50 seconds left. And I would say Dominic Cruz is definitely winning the boxing on this one. A lot of people's Twitter comments are coming in that he's won the first 2 rounds, and I agree. He's definitely been the busier fighter. And a lot of times, all that you really need to do in fighting is just to figure out a way to impose your will and impose your game plan and have the other guy not impose his. And Dominic Cruz doing a great job at that in this fight. Dominic Cruz coming in with some, again, crazy footwork here, but he's actually toned it back a little bit. I wonder if he's made some adjustments in his training and his preparation to kind of conserve his energy in this 5-round fight and not to be inefficient in his footwork as well. Awesome to see him as a real, big shot from Marlon Vera, and Dominic Cruz panic wrestles, closes the distance. Dominic Cruz coming back, but this is risky. This could be a good situation for Marlon Vera to do a counter strike, but looks like Dominic Cruz is recovering and starting to dictate the pace again. That was another big shot from Marlon Vera on Dominic Cruz. You know, it's the same theme where Dominic Cruz is definitely the busier fighter, but Marlon Vera's strikes seem to mean a lot more. Beautiful jab down the middle by Dominic Cruz. Oh, and then he pretends to shoot him for the takedown and back to the jab. Classic GSP kind of style of combining the dilemma of the jab and the takedown, jab and the takedown, jab and the takedown. 2 minutes, 43 seconds. And man, it's so hard to get a real read or timing on what Dominic Cruz is doing. He throws punches in between where you would expect the actual punches to come by. But it looks like he could get knocked out at any moment with this fight with Marlon Vera. But it just doesn't look like he has the ability to finish Marlon Vera in this fight. Marlon's got great defense and doing his standard, more of a orthodox, not the stance, but just a very common kind of way about him in his fighting. And getting the read, too, on Dominic Cruz's takedowns and where they land with his striking. Dominic Cruz let him come forward there and moved his head out of the way. Beautiful stuff there. One minute, 30 seconds left in the third round. And Marlon Vera touches Dominic Cruz's chin. One other thing, too, is Marlon Vera's hands are up this whole time in this fight, and Dominic Cruz's hands have been in many, many different spots. 1 minute, 10 seconds left in this third round. Another jab from Marlon Vera. I might be noticing kind of a slowing down a bit of Dominic Cruz and maybe a change in the momentum of this fight. This has definitely been the closest round, I would say. A nice little punch there from Dominic Cruz against the cage. Makes Marlon Vera back up and use the cage as a spring to come back. Dominic Cruz in on a takedown. It's so hard here when Marlon Vera has this sideways split stance as he's defending this takedown. It's so hard to take a guy down when they're in that kind of split stance. 10 seconds left here in the third round. If you guys are watching, throw something in the comments. I will respond to all the comments. And that concludes the third round. Very close round. I guess I'd still give it to Dominic Cruz. I wonder how his cardio and pacing has been, where his gas tank is looking like for these last 10 minutes of action. They are both in their respective corners. They're doing a replay right now. It would be interesting to hear the advice of the coaches in these corners. Nice shot there on the replay from Marlon Vera and causes Dominic Cruz to panic wrestle. Really great stuff in the precision of Marlon Vera's strikes. Really hits him right on that chin, which causes the brain to shake. I have a great video out on where to hit a guy in the head to properly achieve a knockout. I believe it's called How to Knock Somebody Out with Precision, or the secret methods to knock somebody out with precision. Starting the fourth round here, we're 5 seconds in. And Dominic Cruz doing his crazy footwork, throwing those big looping punches, comes in for a takedown. And it's going to be really tough for Marlon Vera or for Dominic Cruz to do this takedown. A great cross and another great cross knocks Chito down to his butt for a second. But it's going to be hard for Dominic Cruz to get a classic standard takedown here, as Marlon Vera really has his timing down on when he's going to shoot. I'd be surprised if Cruz could get him down again. Four minutes, 15 seconds left in round number 4 here. And I am really surprised that Marlon Vera has not attacked the legs of Dominic Cruz here. One of Dominic's best weapons is his footwork, and biggest weaknesses is his knee. And gets sat down with a punch there. I'm not sure if it was a slip or if he sat him down or what happened. But if I had to say, I would say Dominic has won the first 3 rounds so far. But, man, it seems to me like Marlon Vera is sort of slowly increasing in this fight, and Dominic is slowly decreasing. But if you have the first 3 rounds in the bag, then you could lose the last 2 and still win the fight. So hard to say. Dominic Cruz is such a moving target too. So hard to hit something that's constantly moving, constantly taking his head off of the center line. But the question is, how much of a toll does it take on that gas tank? Oh, big kick for Marlon. Oh, this is the end of the fight. That's it. Big, crazy knockout head kick from Marlon Chito Vera. Dominic Cruz trying to get up, stumbles back down to the ground. Crazy situation. Dominic Cruz won every round, yet still lost the fight from a head kick. Oh, man. You got to feel for Dominic in that situation, as Marlon Vera's strikes just meant more. Every time he was striking, it would have more of an effect on Dominic Cruz than vice versa. Let's watch this knockout on replay again. Boom! Strong back leg round kick. And it was while Dominic Cruz was moving his head down. One of the best ways to knock someone out is to have them move in the direction of the technique that you're throwing. And that's what you saw here with Marlon Vera versus Dominic Cruz. Stayed calm, stayed composed, stayed patient, lost each round, I thought, but still came out with a win and won the fight. Great composure there for Marlon Vera. And props to his ability to have a really decent effect with the strikes that he threw. All right. Well, there you have it, guys. Knockout in the main event, Dominic Cruz. I wonder what's next for Dominic Cruz in this situation. I feel for him, and it's really tough. He was winning that whole fight, and then he gets knocked out with a head kick. But that's the name of the game. The fight business is a crazy business, and what can you do? If you guys want, check out all of my links in the description. Much love, and have a great rest of your night.